You've arrived at Noble Growth.
What is the greatest superpower of all time? According to Robert Cialdini, it's persuasion. In his seminal book, Influence, the Power of Persuasion, Robert Cialdini outlines 6 principles of persuasion that have been proven to work time and time again on virtually every human being on the planet. These 6 principles are reciprocity, scarcity, authority, consistency, liking, and consensus. As a marketer, I think about these principles almost every day, and whenever I start advertising for a new client, I use these 6 principles as a guidepost for my copywriting. In this episode of the Noble Growth Podcast, I'm going to describe each of these 6 principles and provide examples for how you can use them in your own ad creatives. Let's start with reciprocity. Simply put, people feel obliged to pay you back when you've done something for them. For example, if you're at a bar and you say to your friends, "I've got this round," and then you hand each of them a beer, there's a good chance your friends are going to return the favor and buy you a beer sometime later on in the night. The reason is that no one likes to feel indebted to others, so people tend to want to pay back their debt and be fair and square as soon as possible. So how can you use this principle of reciprocity in your copywriting? Try offering something meaningful to your customers in exchange for them taking action. For example, spend $80 or more to get free shipping. Or write a review and we'll give you a shout out on Twitter. Or we're giving away first orders for free, pay only shipping. In each of these examples, there's an incentive for customers to take action. And the beauty of reciprocity is that you can play around with many different types of incentives until you find the one that really resonates with your customers. Get creative and keep testing. All right, now let's discuss the second principle of persuasion, scarcity. Human beings are biologically hardwired to pay attention to scarcity. If resources are scarce, and there's only one buffalo left in the herd that your clan of hunter-gatherers depends on, then demand for meat is going to go up, and prices will go up as well. Luxury brands often use this same principle to drive urgency and to create an air of competition around their product. For example, "Only 2 left in stock, buy now while you still can." Or, "5 people are viewing this hotel room, book now." Or, "Buy now for up to 50% off, sale ends tomorrow." You can almost feel your heart rate increase just by reading these examples. The principle of scarcity is especially powerful when you're running a sale or launching a brand new product. Try it out. The next principle of persuasion is authority. There are lots of lousy products out there. Even worse, there are scam artists who will take your money and give you nothing in return. As a result, customers are generally wary about new brands that they haven't heard of before. Therefore, associating your brand with an authority figure, whether that's a person, a company, or an award, can work wonders for your conversion rate. For example, watch the Emmy Award-winning film critics call thrilling, immersive, and one of the best films of the year. Or, recommended by 9 out of 10 doctors for healthier gums and brighter smiles. Or, Joe Rogan calls this product a complete game changer for workout recovery. Or, as featured in TechCrunch, Forbes, and Time magazine. The principle of authority is so powerful that you'll notice it's used on almost every website, usually above the fold, which is at the top of the website, and at the bottom of the website where the final call to action is. Every marketing agency, including Noble Growth, shows logos of recognizable brands that they've worked with to add credibility to the business. Likewise, every product website showcases the press outlets that have featured them to add credibility as well. That's because authority works by the same principle as the old adage that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time to. In the same way, your brand is the average of the 5 authority figures it's most closely associated with. So choose your authority figures wisely. Now we're going to take a super quick break, and when we get back, we'll talk about the remaining 3 principles of persuasion. All right, let's talk about the 4th principle of persuasion, which is consistency. People prefer to deal with those whose behavior is consistent with their identity and their values. Otherwise, you're dealing with a loose cannon whose behavior is hard to predict and who is therefore potentially troublesome. As a result, society favors people who talk the talk and walk the walk. You can use this societal preference to your advantage in your copywriting. For example, save the bees. If you care about our planet, sign this petition to stop Monsanto's deadly new pesticide for good. Then, once a user signs the petition, which is a low-level ask, you can then email them asking them to donate to the cause, which is a higher-level ask. This escalation of asking based on the consistency principle is known as the foot in the door technique. Essentially, you ask something very small initially, and then because they've already identified themselves as someone who cares about saving the bees, you then go for a higher level ask where you say, we know you care about saving the bees, now donate so that we can really help defeat Monsanto and their new pesticide. Another example is, the truth is more important now than ever. Subscribe to the New York Times to support journalists seeking truth and justice for all. Or, too busy to eat healthy? Try HelloFresh. You can cook delicious meals in under 30 minutes that will make you look and feel so good. Notice how in each of these examples, you're matching a person's identity and values with your product offering. In the New York Times example, you're matching the value of caring about truth and justice and caring about patriotism to supporting the New York Times. Essentially, you're saying, are you this type of person? If so, you should try this product. Identity is powerful. Values are powerful. The consistency principle leverages that power. Now let's discuss the principle of liking, also known as the halo effect. People are more likely to buy things from brands and individuals they like on a personal level. So if you're starting a beauty or cosmetics brand, you're probably better off using Chrissy Teigen as your celebrity spokesperson rather than Mitch McConnell. Chrissy Teigen is universally beloved, and she also has beautiful skin, which is good for your cosmetics brand. Mitch McConnell, by contrast, is a deeply polarizing figure, and he also isn't known for having the most radiant skin. So if you want customers to like your brand, think about who you would want as the face of your brand. And it doesn't have to be a celebrity. You can simply use an attractive young model as the face of your brand, or a cute baby, or a small cuddly animal. You could even use an adorable, kind old grandma, or a wise, well-groomed older man like Takade's The Most Interesting Man in the World. The key is to have your customer like your imagery, and by connection, like your brand as well. Another point worth mentioning is that people tend to like those who are most similar to themselves. People also tend to like families, the military, and down-to-earth people who are just like them. For example, created by local surfers in LA. Or, our dad was a bit of a health nut. We created Perfect Bars to bring our dad's love for nutrition to everyone. Or, city folks just don't get it. Go to farmersonly.com to meet singles near you. Each of these examples creates an in-group that your target customer would want to be a part of. By doing so, your product or service becomes an extension of your customer's identity and value system. Lastly, the sixth principle of persuasion is consensus, also known as social proof or the bandwagon argument. It goes like this. Everyone else is doing this thing. Why aren't you? Are you going to be the last person on earth to know about it? Act now so you are part of this cool movement. Here are some examples that use the principle of social proof. Thousands are raving about this viral new social app. Or, join millions in the fight against climate change. Or, rated 99% on Rotten Tomatoes with over 10,000 verified reviews. Social proof is an insanely powerful strategy for any business. That's because we as humans tend to look to what the crowd is doing in order to determine how we ourselves should behave. And you don't have to wait until you have thousands of raving fans to use this principle. You can start small with something like, dozens of people in your neighborhood are trying X. Sign up now to see what all the fuss is about. So that's it. Those are all 6 principles of persuasion outlined in Robert Cialdini's book. I hope you found these principles to be as helpful as I have. And if you want to go one level deeper, I'd recommend trying out our ad copy generator on the noblegrowth.co website. We created this ad copy generator with the 6 principles of persuasion in mind, and it's super easy to use. All you do is you answer a few questions about your business, and then our algorithm will automatically generate 10 high-performing ad copy lines that you can start testing in your ads today. give it a try and let us know what you think. And thank you for listening to the Noble Growth podcast. It really means a lot to have so much early support for this brand new podcast. I'm Mattimore Cronin, founder of Noble Growth, and until next week's episode, keep growing.
Welcome to Noble Growth.
You are this universe, and you are creating it at every moment, because you see it starts now.
You've arrived at Noble Growth.
Tell the truth, but make the truth fascinating. You know, you can't bore people into buying your product. You can only interest them in buying it.
Marketing is about values. This is a very complicated world. It's a very noisy world. And we're not going to get a chance to get people to remember much about us. No company is. And so we have to be really clear on what we want them to know about.